Hi everyone, my name is Spencer Stapp. I am talking tonight about the 1956 Constitution of Pakistan, what it was like and why it took so long to become law. Interesting note that this is the first constitution for the country of Pakistan, but it is the first of three. They are now on their third official constitution. We will mainly focus on this constitution as it was the basis to form all the other ones that followed. The little I want to talk before about prior to independence. Pakistan, as we know, was part of India, governed under the British Empire. They were governed by a set of laws called the Government of India Act of 1935. It was drafted by Britain. It allowed for certain things over this whole territory. It allowed for a central government, a general governor, similar to a president, though this president or general governor had unreviewable powers, and there was very limited representation from the territories. So in drafting this constitution, a Constituent Assembly of 69 was elected and tasked with drafting a new constitution. They first met on 12th of March 1949, and they passed a resolution on the aims and objectives of the Constitution. This is not the Constitution, but merely what they wanted to include in the Constitution, the general direction that they wanted to go with it, and some of the ideals and policies that needed to be included in it. This alone was debated for 5 days. They developed a foundation and outline of the structure, as I mentioned, and this outline provided minorities with equal rights. So interesting to note that this was right after the partition, so even after the massive bloodshed of 1947, they're still concerned with providing those of minorities with equal rights. Women, Sikhs, Hindus, those other than Muslim males. The Prime Minister, Chandri Muhammad Ali, he was the first Prime Minister of India. He and his team worked to formulate a constitution. It took 9 years until the constitution was enforced on March 23, 1956. And then the general governor at the time was sworn in as the first president of Pakistan. Talk a little bit about the provisions or what the 1956 constitution contained. A couple of the provisions were it contained 234 articles, which were divided into 13 parts and 6 schedules. Its main feature was its Islamic character. Those Islamic principles and policies became state policy. It abolished the role of general governor and turned that into a president and then a prime minister. It established voting rights for every citizen of Pakistan with a minimum age of 21. This included women, even though it wasn't common for them to vote. They were legally allowed to vote under the 1956 Constitution. It did establish an executive branch. The president had the discretionary power to make appointments to other branches. A few things were the president, in order to be elected, was required to be a Muslim of at least 40 years of age. He would then appoint a prime minister from the members of the National Assembly. That prime minister must receive a vote of confidence from the National Assembly. This is very similar to what we're seeing in the United States, where a president appoints a Secretary of State, those kind of positions, and then they're approved by the Senate. It's very similar to that. The Pakistani legislative branch is a parliamentary form of government with a single House of Representatives known as the National Assembly. There's a picture of the National Assembly meeting here. It's 300 elected members from the 2 wings of the country divided equally. They are required to meet twice a year. They can meet more. It established a federal form of government with a centralized government in provincial states. The federal legislation does take precedence over provincial legislation. It established an independent Supreme Court, and in case of conflict between the central government and the provinces, the Supreme Court was to act as a mediator between the states and the federal government there. Here's a copy of my works cited. This was a very interesting topic to go over, very interesting to see the formations of democracy in Pakistan and how that has affected them up until this current day. Thank you all for watching and hope you have a good day.